guys, welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, I'm so excited because today I have put together a high-end makeup lovers, basically starter kit. So this is going to be, I would say, the first products that someone who's interested in the high-end category should pick up. And I do have a couple things in mind when I think about something like this. Price point is a big deal, but mostly it is the ease of use. I'm super excited to share this video with you guys today because on top of all of the amazing makeup products I'm about to share with you guys, I did collaborate with my friend Andrea Matillano for this video. Pretty sure I said your name right. I really hope I did. But this is a video in collaboration with her. She is honestly one of my absolute favorite YouTubers. She does both drugstore and high-end, and she does a variety of different videos. So she's done Project Pan before. She does drugstore and high-end makeup reviews. She does beautiful declutters. They're the most visually enhanced declutters I've ever seen. It just kind of hooks you right in. And the best part is that she is incredibly sweet and soothing to listen to. It's very relaxing. She just has this essence about her. And I really wish one day that I could actually meet you in person, Andrea, because I feel like we'd really click. Another good thing about Andrea is that she also is cruelty-free. So if you ever are interested in looking for cruelty-free makeup brands, that's all she talks about. A really good resource for you guys and definitely a friend of mine. She is going to be doing the drugstore starter kit, and I'm so excited to see what products she's picked out. Now, without further ado, let's chat about the high-end makeup products that I think you definitely need when you transition into the high-end makeup category. So first of all, I wanted to talk about this makeup bag that I do have. This is actually all of the products in here. So I'm gonna go through all of them, but they all fit very nicely in this makeup bag. Now the makeup case that I have all of these products in is actually created by another creator that is on YouTube. Her name is Allie Glines, and I have the medium version of this makeup case, and everything fits beautifully in this makeup case. So I just wanted to show it to you. It's kind of like a bluey gray slate color in person, made very well as well, and it has rose gold detailing. This is not an ad for her or anything. But I wanted to share with you guys the makeup case that I've been keeping everything in lately. It is very travel friendly. I absolutely love it. So I'll definitely link it in the description box for you guys. But the first product that I want to talk about is primer. Now this is going to be, I think, surprising to maybe some of you that I'm not going to pick this ultra luxury primer. I'm definitely thinking of someone that doesn't have a ton of makeup experience yet. Maybe someone that's more on the beginner end of things and just wants to have a good universally flattering primer. Nothing too detailed to a particular look, just something that would be flawless with very minimal effort. So this is the first product I have in mind. This is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. This is a classic OG product, I would say. This is probably the first primer that I ever picked up and the first primer that I actually fell in love with. This is a beautiful mattifying, blurring primer. It makes your foundation last all day long. I do think that Smashbox does a great job with priming products. I think it's a little bit of a known fact that they do primers very, very well. And this is a really good one. This is also oil-free, so I love it. And this one, I would say, provides a very beautifully like velvety smooth kind of finish to the skin so that it just evens everything out and you can place your base product over it very easily. So this I definitely think is step one. Kind of along the same vein, we do have this Smashbox Eye Primer. This is another underrated product and something that I have been telling you guys about lately because I feel like people need to use this. You need it in your life. It's smoothing, it's non-drying, it just makes your eyeshadow last such a long time. This is also from Smashbox, like I said. This is the 24-hour Photo Finish Shadow Primer, and I never would have known unless a Sephora employee put this on my eyes when we did a makeup trial at one point. This is a really fantastic primer. I absolutely love it. It's kind of like a, I guess like a lotiony balm kind of consistency to it. If you're familiar with the Tatcha Silk Canvas, this is kind of more moussey in texture than that, but it's definitely the same like smoothing property. It just kind of glides over any wrinkles and texture. I know for myself, I don't have perfect eyelids. I don't have a flawless base that I work with. I do have bumps at times. I have a bit of a like a hooded eye kind of effect going on. Like that's just me genetically, I guess. What can I say? So I do have some creasing and some things going on in that area, and I need something to smooth it over. So this does a great job of doing that. I'm kind of going in order of what I would do my makeup with as well, like sorta. So hopefully this kind of makes sense. Now I'm going to talk about a brow product, and I'm not going to go too far into brow products because for me, I have a little bit of an upper edge because I did get my brows microbladed this past year. So I do have a significant advantage when it comes to putting your brows together at this point, and for good reason. I was terrible at brows. Like, I was just so bad. So the only product that I use right now is the Benefit Gimme Brow product, and this is a fantastic one. It has pigment in this container, so it kind of helps with darkening or kind of defining the brow a little bit. And it also has a little spoolie you can kind of brush through your hairs through. If you're wanting a pencil, a really good pencil is the Precisely My Brow from Benefit as well. I would say that one is very, very fine. It makes you do detail work really well. And for a beginner, I think that's really what would help somebody get a nice natural looking brow versus a thicker product. Next, I want to talk about eyeshadow because this is something that I feel like is kind of a really good product to start out with because it's not ultra luxury, but it's kind of getting into that ultra luxury space. And I know for people that really love high end, they want to have the experience of a beautifully expensive product as well without spending all of that money. So I would say for the eyeshadow recommendation for the high-end starter kit, I would go with this mini Natasha Denona Mini Nude palette. This, you guys, is fantastic. It's a fantastic mini. Like I said before, Natasha Denona has done some minis very poorly in the past, but this is a fantastic mini. It's really good for everyday makeup. It is the makeup that I'm wearing today. The eyeshadow I'm wearing is this palette. I feel like all of the shades are beautiful. The shimmers, you can expect a bit of fallout with, so definitely do your eyes before you put on your foundation. But this is a fantastic product. I am very happy with it. And if you kind of want to expand, like let's say you have some neutrals already that you really love and you don't want to kind of waver, I did include her mini retro palette, which is the newest palette, and I also included her mini gold. Both of these have the variety and versatility of adding some color, some depth, a little bit of a different look versus everyday, but still has the consistent quality and the price tag that we want, which isn't the price tag of a full palette. The next product I want to talk about is concealer, and having a good concealer in your routine is fantastic, especially something that will camouflage really well and will stay in place. We don't want something that's going to break down halfway through the day, and I like to put my concealer on sometimes underneath my foundation, sometimes over it. So I'm going to talk about this next. This, I think, is a very foolproof concealer and one that I do think is a bit underrated as well. This is the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Concealer. I wear 2N in this product. This is a fantastic one. It covers acne beautifully. It covers redness beautifully. I do feel like it also does well underneath the eye. I don't typically wear makeup underneath the eye as much because I personally don't have a ton of dark circles to deal with yet. But this, I think, when I have tested it under there, I have found no issues whatsoever. If you are oily, I would definitely set it under the eye area for sure because that might be places where you collect oil throughout the day. But this is a really good concealer, you guys. It's just flawless, hence the name. But it's flawless to use. It's flawless when it comes to finish. It's a very natural skin finish. Definitely would recommend this one. I wanted to include this color corrector as well because when I do have the odd dark circle, like I said, it's very rare for me to have them. But when I do have them, I pull this little baby out and then I put a little bit of concealer over top of it just for like that doubly, you know, really correct that issue underneath the eye. But this is a beautiful color corrector. This I would call an optional product as well. If you don't need it, you don't have to buy it. But this is from Becca, and this is the Under Eye Brightening Corrector. I like that it's a little bit of like a light pink color as well. It does help to kind of camouflage the dark circle kind of issue, right? It does help to color correct it. So this I also think is a very easy product to use. I do have this little mini of it right now because I literally barely go through it, you guys. Like, it's just something that, like I said, very, very thankful to not have that issue right now. But I do think that when I have that issue more often, this will be something I will be purchasing in full size because I just like the ease of use. I love how easy it is to correct things, but I don't find that it breaks apart throughout the day, and that's the biggest thing. Now, I get a ton of questions about introductory brushes when it comes to the high-end category. We did just talk about eyeshadow, so I will talk about this next. This is where I think an investment in certain areas is definitely great. We do have some brushes here that I would say are really, really worth the investment, but we have other ones from, let's say, the Sephora Collection that I would say are definitely not as expensive, but still do a fantastic job. When it comes to eye products, though, to me, these are the best, and this is a bit of a pricier set. It does help another creator here on YouTube as well, who is the creator of this eye set, but this is all the eyeshadow brushes that you would ever need, and this is the Goss Eye Set. Now, I do have a couple I need to wash, but these are the eye brushes I'd recommend hands down because these do such a good job. They are natural haired brushes, and they're made in Japan as well. This set will help you basically do virtually any eye look that you ever need. It's really good to have basically an arsenal of like blenders, some that can do some nice detail work and things like that. So this is the eye set that I would recommend hands down. You can't go wrong with this, and then you have your entire toolkit at your disposal. Next, I want to talk about foundation. Now, I do have a foundation recommendation and then a tinted moisturizer recommendation as well. I will talk about the foundation first, actually, because this is something that is hands down a classic OG, beautiful foundation. I really had a hard time narrowing down what foundation I'd recommend because I was like, really? Like, what would I suggest to someone that's just going into Sephora, let's say, for the first time? I want a foundation similar to a look that you would wear, glowy, natural, medium coverage. What do you recommend? And this came up in my head immediately because it's not super expensive. It's not cheap, but it's not super expensive either. But it gives you that beautiful luminosity that you've definitely been wanting, the medium coverage, etc. This is the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. And like I said, this has been around for such a long time for good reason. It's still a bestseller in the Armani Beauty brand, even currently, because it's so good. The shade I wear is number 5. And this, you guys, is a beautiful glowy foundation. Like I said, it just highlights, gives you that youthful glow that so many people are wanting. The ease of use of this is also fantastic. It doesn't dry super fast where you have to apply it super hard and super quickly. It layers on top of itself beautifully and it just stays put. Like all day long it stays put. With the Smashbox primer, it's going to be extra flawless. It's just such a good introductory high-end foundation, I would say, without having to spend like your entire budget. Now, to apply the Giorgio Armani foundation, I would always recommend a Beautyblender Sponge. This is, to me, my preferred tool to apply base products with, unless I have to apply them with a brush. I don't like applying them with a brush. It's just not my habitual thing to do. I would much prefer a Beautyblender Sponge. So when you're looking at tools in the high-end category, I feel like the Beautyblender Sponge is bar none still the best one. When you use a Beautyblender Sponge, if you are unfamiliar, definitely soak it with water and then wring all of the water out of it. Then take your foundation product and place it on your skin. It will help with the application process, making everything flawless and smooth. But when you're thinking about the high-end category tools, I feel like the Beautyblender is always the first thing I think of. Now let's get into powders. I do have a pressed powder that I'd recommend, and I also have a loose powder that I'd recommend. Now this is just going to be preference style. You don't need both. If you are looking for a loose powder, I would say my favorite right now that's in like the perfect price point, it's still a little bit higher obviously, but not as expensive as some. This is Hourglass's Veil Setting Powder. This, you guys, has absolutely no fragrance in it, which is why I wanted to include it in this video. There's a ton like higher end ultra luxury setting powders from Chanel and La Mer that have fragrance. That is also a huge irritant to some people. So I figured I would put this guy in play because this is also a flawless powder. You don't need a ton of skill. What I will say is this one is also pretty forgiving if you decide to put on too much by accident. You can always kind of brush it away. It doesn't make you look super chalky or super powdered. It's a lot of wiggle room with this one. So when you're thinking about a beginner applying powder and they apply too much, this one's not going to make you look as cakey as fast as some other ones. But if you're looking for a pressed one, this is where I feel like this has got to be one of the best ones out there, and I would say is so worth the money. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. It is the Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder. This powder is one of Charlotte's, I would say, best performing products. She does a great job with this. It's so, so good. There's one in fair, one in medium, and one in deep, I believe. I'll have to double check that, but this one is in medium. I could also do fair. This one is like a touch too dark for me, just a touch, but something I'm getting away with currently because I have to use it up. But this is the powder here. Gorgeous packaging. When you think about the higher end category, you do want to also get some things that are also dressed really beautifully, like the packaging being phenomenal, because this is something that, you know, now you're spending some more money in this category and you want it to look nice as well as perform well. So this is a fantastic powder. Definitely gives you the airbrush look. It does set everything well. It holds things in place really well. Definitely my pressed powder of choice. Now, the powder brush that I would recommend is actually one from Sigma, and I don't think Sigma is talked about as much anymore. There's a ton of other powder brushes that are much more expensive, some that come in sets. The Refer brushes set is also phenomenal, but I do find that you're buying face brushes and eye brushes together, and that's awesome if you want to just do a collective one kind of bundle situation. I would recommend the Refer brushes for a beginner 100%. But if you're wanting just like one brush at a time, the Sigma Large Powder F30 is also one that I feel like nobody talks about anymore. And it is the current powder brush I'm still using to this day. This one is offered by itself through the Sigma website. Incredibly affordable though, incredibly affordable. One that I use with loose and pressed powders very easily. I love the bristles on these. They kind of taper out at the end. It gives you the perfect density to kind of lightly pat into a powder product and place on the skin, blends this on the skin very well. This is a great one. I don't know what's going on, but I totally forgot about eyeliner and mascara. The eyeliner recommendation that I have is a no-brainer, one that I thought of right away, and one that I continually use to this day. I must have repurchased it now 20 plus times in my life. I started using this when I was 16 and I'm still using it now that I'm 30. This is the Stila Black Liquid Liner. 100% would recommend this one. The ease of use is fantastic. The felt tip is amazing. It's not too stiff, not too soft. Perfect. Pigmentation is a rich black, beautiful, long-lasting product. This to me also doesn't dry out as fast as some of the other ones that I've definitely tested before, where I feel like I open them up to air and then it's maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I feel like it's already dragging on my skin. So weird. This is one that lasts such a long time. I can't recommend this enough. I always use this for my upper liner. It's kind of like something that I've put on my look for a long time, and now it's so much a part of my makeup look that I actually feel like I look weird without it. It's kind of crazy, but this is a fantastic eyeliner. Now, when it comes to mascara, I was like, what should I recommend? There's so many good ones out there, so many. But I thought about a classic OG. That's kind of what I thought about here. Nothing too new, nothing that I haven't just tested for a couple of days or a couple of months or a couple of years. This has been now 5+ years for me that I've on and off put this in my collection, rotated through it. Very easy to use for all types of makeup lovers. This is the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes Mascara. This is a mini that came in a kit, so this isn't the full size of it, but the full size is also fantastic. I find that this is one where the mini and the full size have the exact same brush. There's sometimes when you get a mini and it doesn't have the same brush, you fall in love with the mini and then you get the full size and it's not the same. So this is a great product. It hasn't failed me. I love the wand of this one. The wand is a little bit skinnier than most, but it's still fluffy. It's not like super small. It does have longer bristles than I would say the Volume de Chanel, which is a very small, stiff bristles. This one has like soft to medium bristle kind of texture, medium length, and it does a great job with lengthening, separating, and making your eyelashes look super bold. So this is one that I would definitely recommend to anybody that is just starting out. Such an easy mascara to use, such a great result. Now, I also forgot about the tinted moisturizer recommendation. After I talked about the Giorgio Armani foundation and how amazing it is, because it's a fantastic product. But if you're not one that buys foundation or wears foundation, this is the product for you instead. And this is something that I feel like is actually the newest to my collection out of everything I'm talking about, but because of how much of an impression it's made on me, I am very confident in recommending it to you guys. This is a new product from Tarte. It is the Maracuja Hydrator, and this is phenomenal for a light coverage product. Phenomenal. A great job with the glow of the skin, slightly evens out the skin tone. It doesn't do a medium coverage because then we're looking at a foundation product. I would say it's definitely a light coverage, buildable to medium. If you have any redness to the cheeks, but it's not super intense. So something that can tell a little bit of like a flush to the cheeks that you want to cover, but nothing too intense. This will do a great job of that. If you are wanting more, you would definitely have to pair it with a concealer. And then if you're wanting more coverage yet, I would just go into a foundation product like the Armani one. But this one is so good for an everyday light feeling on the skin, very, very hydrating. If you have oily skin, I would definitely set this. I'm a normal skin type and I don't find there's any issues with it. I do set it still though, and I find that the longevity is fantastic. This is the mini that I was able to use to test it, and I can't speak highly enough about it. Okay, now when it comes to highlight and bronzer, I have the perfect duo product. You don't need to buy a separate highlight and a separate bronzer because this will do it for you. This is the one product, one-stop shop. You don't need anything else. Beautiful shades in this, you guys. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. This is the only highlight and bronzer you will ever need, I'm telling you. So this is why I'm including this, because if I can do a combo product to make it easier on people's wallets, I absolutely will. This is what this product looks like, you guys. So I'm trying not to, it's very dirty, yikes. Sorry. Try not to blind you guys with it either, but this is what the product is. It's a gorgeous light bronzer. You can build it up, but this is a fantastic like neutral color. So it's perfect for that natural look. And the highlight in here is a perfect champagne. It just glides on the skin beautifully. It has the light reflecting particles in it. To me, it just melts into the skin so well. So, so good, you guys. The only bronzer and a highlight that you'll need, I'm telling you. And for brushes to apply this stuff, this is where I feel like a bronzer brush is important, and my favorite is the Marc Jacobs The Bronze. This is very expensive though compared to some of the other products I've talked about. This one is more expensive than the Sigma one, and the Sephora Collection ones I'm about to talk to you guys about is also much more affordable. But this one is a great bronzer brush. I need to clean it. If you want that very effortless kind of flush to the skin, this isn't going to give you detailed contour work, obviously, because it's way too big. But I'm thinking about people that are wanting an everyday look, nothing too like carved out or editorial. Something that is so easy, you know, blip, 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 good to go. You place the bronzer where you want on your cheek, highlighting where you want the bronzer to go. Very, very easy to create a diffused look with this brush. Now for highlight, this is my Sephora Collection recommendation. This is brush number 74, and I believe it's still available, but I love this highlight brush because it also has a tapered kind of like, I would call it a muffin top, sort of, kind of tapered angle to it, and it just applies highlight beautifully. So I just kind of dust it where I want my highlight to go. Fantastic. It's not super dense and not super fluffy, so it's perfect where you can actually pick up your highlight and not too much of it. You can pick up some powder and just lightly apply to the cheek where you want the highlight to go, and then you can build it up if you want or keep it more subtle. This has great control. Okay, now we are getting down to blushes. Now, when I talk about this particular product, I don't believe this particular product is available anymore, but the blushes in the permanent collection are. This is the Hourglass Blush Quad from the Ghost collection that came out in the holiday season this past year, but I'm going to use this to highlight sort of what the blushes look like. So these blushes blend beautifully, they layer beautifully. I feel like they're very pigmented, but not to the point where they're so pigmented that you have to be so careful. There's some blushes out there that are so heavily pigmented, you like barely put your brush in there and then there's so much pigment. This one is definitely an effortless, soft, beautiful, flush looking product, like I said. And the fact that they have that kind of mosaic look to them just kind of shows you there's multiple dimensions to these blushes, and that's why they've got like that beautiful sheen, kind of light reflecting property that just makes them look so natural and so skin-like. Definitely a favorite and a must-have from Hourglass. Okay, now let's talk about lip products. There's one that I think you'll be a little bit surprised about, and there's one that you definitely won't be surprised about. Now, when it comes to the high-end starter kit, I do think that people are going to want a classic lipstick that so many people are talking about that I feel like looks beautiful on a ton of different skin tones. And this is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lipstick. I'm going to talk about this again. As you guys know, I'm a big, big fan of this. She also recently came out with a Pillow Talk Medium and a Pillow Talk Deep, which is perfect to help expand the line so it includes a lot more people that can't necessarily pull off the original shade, right? So it's great that she's done this. This is the original shade though. beautiful, you guys. It's a beautiful neutral with a little bit of a pink / rose component. This is a Matte Revolution lipstick, but it's not a traditional matte that is super drying on the lips. It definitely has enough creaminess to it to make it much more comfortable for people that have an issue with drying effects of matte products. I'm not the biggest fan of a super matte lipstick. I like to have a little bit of a slip when I'm applying it, and I like to have a bit of a creaminess just for comfort, and this is perfect. So even though it's her matte formula, it's still incredibly comfortable to wear. This is the swatch of this bad boy on my skin. So as you can see, it's got a beautiful kind of rose, you know, pinky rose kind of element to it. It's so, so stunning. Now, I did include one other lipstick formula in here for the people that are thinking about a high-end lipstick, but more so on the medium price point. So we're talking about a Tarte product here that I think has the longevity, pigmentation, so underrated, fantastic product. And even though it's not like ultra luxury, it still mimics the look of an ultra luxury product that I don't think people would notice that you're wearing a Tarte lipstick, if that makes sense. This is the Rainforest of the Sea color lipstick in the shade Rum Punch. This would be my second option for someone looking for an everyday lipstick in the high-end category, but not wanting to spend a luxury price tag. These are super creamy, you guys. It is the shade I'm wearing today, actually. Fantastic. Stays put, lasts a long time. The pigmentation is there. I feel like this is a beautiful, like, everyday nude color. I'm going to put it next to Pillow Talk and show you. It's just so creamy. This one is definitely not, see, look how close they are. They're pretty close, hey? So Rum Punch is on the right. So you can see that Rum Punch has a little bit more of like a brownness to it, just slight though. They're both so close. Before we go on to the last couple of lip products and the setting spray recommendation that I have, I do want to quickly talk about this Sephora Collection brush, which is for the blush application. This is the Pro Featherweight Complexion number 90. So this one is what I use for blush. Beautiful, easy, very easy to target the apples of the cheeks, like boom, boom, boom. And it picks up blush so well. This works beautifully with the Hourglass ones because it just gives you that beautiful diffused look. You just have to tap, tap, tap and blend right in, and it's perfect. Super easy. This isn't a super expensive brush, but I would highly recommend it. Now, I always say that lip liner is kind of like a preference thing, just like lipstick versus lip gloss. I'm going to talk about lip gloss next, but I think that lip liner is kind of like an optional thing. If you do see yourself wearing a lip liner, this is the best one in my opinion. It's creamy, it's fantastic, pigmented, classic. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in the shade Pillow Talk. This is from the OG Pillow Talk, or the original shade, like I said, that matches the lipstick that I talked about. So it just matches it perfectly. Like, it's just a fantastic lip liner. Lasts all day, you guys, doesn't budge. One of my absolute favorite formulas. The last two products I'm about to talk to you guys about, both amazing, and one that I think is a bit of a surprise. When I thought about lip glosses, I thought about a lot, but the one that I really love, that I think is so underrated and not super expensive either, which I really, really like, this one is going to look very beaten up to you because this is something that I have loved for a long time. This is the Lancome Absolute Gloss Cream. Fantastic, you guys. Love this product. This, to me, if you're into glosses, beautiful, beautiful contender. The shade that I have is 202. I believe it's called Day and Night. This is what the gloss looks like, you guys. Dead. It's so beautiful. Very similar to Pillow Talk and Rum Punch, like I just showed beforehand, but this is in a gloss kind of texture, or a gloss product. If you like glosses over lipstick, this is for you 100%. The Lancome Absolute Gloss Creams, in my opinion, are very underrated. Not as expensive as some other glosses. Like when you're thinking about Pat McGrath, Hourglass, they're a bit more pricey than the Lancome. And I think that the Lancome still holds its own. It's pigmented, it lasts a long time, it has that gorgeous shine to the lips. Fantastic product. So if I recommend any gloss at all, definitely this one. Lastly, we're going to talk about setting spray. So setting spray to me is also a step that I think can be optional, but if you're wanting something to really kind of melt everything together, as well as give you a beautiful glow, this is my fave product now. This is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultra Fine Mist. And this, you guys, I am nearly empty of. Can you see? There's barely anything left. Another thing I'm going to be restocking during the VIB sale, this is a beautiful, beautiful product. I think for me, it just blends everything together. Like it just kind of seeps it right into the skin so it looks like it's a continuous, effortless final product. It says it helps hydrate the skin and also gives you a glowing radiance, which is 100% true. I've heard so many other people sing the praises of this one. I highly, highly recommend it. But if you are wanting a setting spray that does not have a glow factor to it, I would 100% recommend the MAC Fix Plus. That is also an original OG holy grail product that I think so many people have come to love. It just doesn't have the glow capacity. So if the foundation, you know, the Armani does have a bit of a glow to it by itself, if you're just kind of done with that amount of glow, you can set it with the Fix Plus and it's a phenomenal result. It holds everything in place for a full day, in my opinion, and just makes everything look flawless. What are your high-end essential products that you'd recommend to someone that is just getting into the high-end category? Don't forget to check out Andrea's Drugstore starter kit. I can't wait to see what she's all got in there. I'm super curious. And until my next one, guys, take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.
You and me, everything that we've been through has made us strong. You won't believe we've had our gray, but somewhere there's a light inside of us. It shows the way.